Hello out there, we're on the air. It's hockey night tonight. Tension grows, the whistle blows, and the puck goes down the ice. The goalie jumps and the players bump, and the fans all go insane. Someone roars, Bobby scores at the good old hockey game. Oh, the good old hockey game is the best game you can name. The best game you can name is the good old hockey game. Second period. Where players dash with skates aflash, the home team trails behind. But they grab the puck and go bursting up, and they're down across the line. They storm the crease like bumblebees, they travel like a burning flame. We see them slide the puck inside, it's a 1-1 hockey game. Oh, the good old hockey game is the best game you can name. The best game you can name is the good old hockey game. Third period, last game of the playoffs too. Oh, take me where the hockey players face up down the ring. Stanley Cup is all filled up for the champs who win the drink. Now the final flick of a hockey stick and the one gigantic scream. The puck is in, the home team wins the good old hockey game. Oh, the good old hockey game is the best game you can name. The best game you can name is the good old hockey game. Oh, the good old hockey game is the best game you can name. And the best game you can name is the good old hockey game. Oh, the good old hockey game is the best game you can name. And the best game you can name is the good old hockey game.
All right, welcome all in. Fussmucker, boiled egg, popped Dongoria. I am representing a couple teams we're going to have some conversations about tonight. First of all, donning the old Ottawa Senators cap, and the jersey tonight is... That's right, baby. The best hockey team in Canada right now, points-wise. Your Vancouver Canucks. So we're going to have some conversations about those two teams a little bit later on. And good to see you guys. Lots to talk about. So let's get right into it. Before I bring the panel in, you may have heard there's a giveaway tonight. Yes, we will be giving away not a copy of FHM 9, but we'll be giving away a copy of the FHM 10 that comes out tomorrow. Yeah, it will be released tomorrow. So, of course, thank you to our good friends at Out of the Park Developments and Franchise Hockey Manager for donating a copy to the Black Aces podcast tonight. And, of course, let's give you a little preview of what this game is all about coming out tomorrow. So let's check it out, and then we'll bring the panel in.
Celebrating 10 years with our fans. Franchise Hockey Manager 10, officially licensed by the NHL. Welcome to the next generation of FHM. Play the game your way. Custom games now allow you to import real teams or entire leagues from anywhere in the world or from our historical game. And you can now set up promotion and relegation systems for your custom leagues. Gain more control with our reworked trade system, including new team needs and player shopping systems. Beware the media. Manage media relations that can affect your team's happiness and the opinions of your fans and owner. Bring more hockey history to life by traveling all the way back to 1909 and the newly playable National Hockey Association, complete with 7-man hockey. College hockey has expanded. American college teams now have to contend with the transfer portal, and the Canadian college teams are now playable. updated for the 2023-2024 season for every NHL club, as well as international, minor, college, and junior leagues. Get to know the players better with prospect tournaments, youth tournaments, and new scouting options. And so much more. Franchise Hockey Manager 10, celebrating 10 years of hockey strategy with our fans. All on the only NHL licensed PC game. Releasing November 7th, 2023.
All right. So again, thank you to our friends at Out of the Park Developments and Franchise Hockey Manager. We will have one copy of the game to give away a little bit later tonight, so stay tuned for that. And all you got to do is keep typing in the chat, "Go Oilers, go! Go Oilers, go! Go Oilers, go!" And you have a better chance of winning. Maybe, maybe not. Just kidding. Welcome back to the show today. We've got from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, Finn. We have from also the Edmonton, Alberta region, Old Man Fred. And from somewhere out east, I don't know, way out east somewhere, they speak a different language out there. Welcome back. Not Lanky Frank. He's going by Frank the Tank is in the house. Welcome all in, guys. How's your Monday going? Everyone don't speak at once.
It's going pretty good. It's going pretty good. Had a hell of a day at work, but put a beer in the fridge and looking forward to watching the Oilers game after this.
Oh, yeah. The Oilers for the third time.
Double header on Sportsnet. So
we have it on 4K here tonight, so get to watch them lose in extra clear vision.
Old Man Fred trimmed that beast of a beard. Well, he was going for the Joe Thornton retirement look and then went for the Brent Burns look and just all of a sudden said, it's probably his wife said, no, you're trimming that now. Honestly, right, Old Man Fred? Oh, you're muted. There you go. You're on. I was wondering why Old Man Fred was so quiet, because he's muted.
I know. That's the last time that bullshit's going to happen. All right, I'm back. So yeah, no, yes, the young bride wasn't as impressed as I was. And, so anyway, so yes, it's I look like a trim 25-year-old. Let's go with that. So there you go. That's
does she call it the Toronto Tickler, as Boiled Egg mentions?
You're getting kind of personal there, buddy. So, hey, this is don't get all weird on me, old man. There, it's weird.
Oh, hey, that was a comment from the chat. I'm just putting what the chat has to say there. Boiled egg.
Yeah, well, that's good.
There you go. There you go. Boiled egg is from Timmins, Ontario, and I don't know, Frank the Tank, if your mom had a son from another father, because boiled egg and you, I think, have a lot in common. I'm just going to say that now. You're both French Canadian.
wow, damn.
Well, by the way, the Leafs just scored in overtime.
Yeah, I just saw that. So for Glenn, there's like Asia. Right? There's no like China, Korea. It's Asia.
Hey. I know a guy in Montreal, Francois. Francois, do you know him? He lives down the street.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how Americans think sometimes, is that
rejoice. Toronto just won an OT. Very playoff-like 6-5.
6-5.
Looking good for the playoffs.
There you
Not
go.
all teams can say that, I'm afraid. So
no, they can't. And then again, we have a lot to talk about. So let's start with what we usually go with, and that is looking at the next team and kind of the logo that we associate the most or we enjoy the most with that team. And Columbus, obviously, they haven't been in the league long. What, anyone remember what year they came in? 2001, 2002? When did Columbus come in?
2001, I think.
2001, yeah. Rick Nash, I think, was their first captain.
Yeah, Florida and Tampa came at the same time at the end of the 90s. So, how many logos did they go through already?
So they haven't had too many. They've had this one for the first 3 years with the big B, the big C, the hockey stick going in. And then they took out the words at the bottom there from 2004, 2007. And then currently they're running this one here today, which more of us are familiar with. So when we look at the Columbus Blue Jackets logos, only 3 prominent ones, but they have had some shoulder patches. They've had some, variations of their logo as well. Of course, we know them for the cannon. Or is that Carolina? That's Columbus, right? The cannon,
Yeah.
they fire off the cannon.
Yeah, it's Columbus.
So these 3 right here, this one right here in the top, and this one with the Blue Jackets underneath, and then the one on the far left at the bottom. Those have been their 3 primary logos. So let's start with the youngest, first of all. Ryan or Finn, which logo do you associate the best with Columbus?
I like the new one. And I mean, obviously, it's been their logo pretty much the entire time I've been watching hockey. But the other ones I just find to be too busy.
Too busy? Too busy for a young Zoomer like you? Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
I like clean, crisp, and simple.
All right. Well, how about you, old man Fred? Which logo are you partial to, or any of the patches here that you see?
Yeah, I'm gonna go for the patch. I like the Blue Jacket, the one beside the so bottom middle, I guess, if you will. The one where it looks like we've got a soldier kind of with the flag screaming kind of thing. I think that one appeals to me more than the silly Blue Jacket fly thing or whatever that is. And so, and going somewhat simple as well. I also like the patch that is, I guess, on my screen, it's to the right of it, where it says Columbus Blue Jackets with the C and the cannon in the middle. And I believe probably the state of Ohio. Yeah. So yeah, I like both of those. The other ones are whatever. I don't care. Like they're a nothing team anyway, so doesn't matter.
Yeah. Leo, I agree. I like the one with the cannon. I like the C for the Columbus. I like the state outline there. And of course, they're known for the cannon, firing off the cannon for their goals. So yeah, I'm going to go with the one in the bottom right here. And thank you, OTP Developments. Good to see you. Thank you for rating in with your viewers over there. And for those of you that missed the first part of the show, we are doing a giveaway for Franchise Hockey Manager 10 that will come up in a little bit before we take our first break. So stay tuned for a chance to enter for a copy that comes out tomorrow. The new version of Franchise Hockey Manager released tomorrow. All right.
Do we get to sign up for that?
No. It's like those when you see a contest and it says not open to employees of the actual.
When I get my first paycheck, I'll consider myself an employee.
That's pretty
It's
good.
in the mail. You haven't got your first one yet?
No, it must be stuck in the mail or something.
It must be, but yeah.
For 2 years. Yeah.
Everyone will type in rigged if one of you guys wins. So we can't have that. We can't have a rigged contest here.
That's probably
no, we are not eligible. So Frank the Tank, what do you think? What is your favorite Columbus logo?
Yeah, none of the 3 that they've had. So I'm also going to be a patch. I think the one old man Fred chose looks too much like the New England Patriots, and I hate their guts.
Yeah.
So I can't go for that. New England, Boston area, heebie-jeebies. I like Brady after he left, So I'm gonna go with the old man Fred's second choice, your first choice, and some in the chat. The cannon, man, that should be their logo right now. It's old school. It looks pretty cool, man. So
yeah, and they did have a jersey. One of their third jerseys or alternate jerseys, I think, did have a cannon on it, and yeah, it looked sharp with the blue and the white. And maybe at some time they'll bring that in. the one with the fly or the bee. I don't know if anyone from the U.S. knows the significance. Like, what is this insect? What's the relevance to Columbus?
It's a blue jacket.
Yeah.
Oh,
Columbus Blue Jackets. Hello. You don't know your bugs, man?
oh. Hey, I do not know my bugs, okay? I'm up in Canada.
We have old man Fred that doesn't know that's Ohio. We have you that doesn't know it's Blue Jacket.
I knew it was Ohio. Come on now. I said that.
We can't all be as smart as you, Frank. Come on.
But
So,
seriously, but I thought the Blue Jacket thing was a Civil War thing, wasn't it?
That's what I thought too. I didn't
It's
know it was like
not about a bug.
It's the Civil War thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why they fire a cannon. They don't fire like Raid. So,
You mean it's not like Florida where they throw rats on the ice? They throw blue jackets on the ice? No?
I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, the rat is the second best celebration after the octopus.
Yeah. All right. Well, last week we took a look at a game of the week. I gave you guys the Boston-Toronto game to look at. And here are our predictions from last week. And I know the viewers in the chat made some predictions as well. And when I bring up the game of the week this week later on, feel free to make your predictions. Lanky Frank said 4-2 Boston. Old Man Fred said 4-1 for the Leafs. Finn went 2-1 Boston, and I went 4-3 for the Leafs in overtime. And of course, the game ended up 3-2 for Boston. And not only was it, the game of the week, but there was something that happened during that game. And I'll put it on the screen here. And we'll start with you, Old Man Fred, as a Toronto fan. What went through your mind when you saw this play by Brad Marchand?
I guess it is a dirty play. There's no two ways about it. Typical Leafs. Nobody did anything about it. So much for that sandpaper, because that doesn't exist. And Marchand was fine. Nothing happened to him. He was okay. And that's the way he plays. He's a hard-nosed guy. You can see the foot coming up. I mean, it is a slew foot. It's not. It's a very sophisticated slew foot, but it still is what it is. Guy's gone. Guy's injured. So what did I think of it? I wasn't happy. But I think I was more upset about the lack of reaction. It's just like, oh, that was bad. And, let's grab some, again, maybe it'll be first round fodder one more time. They got to toughen up. They really do. But I've been saying that for a while. I wanted Marner traded. It's and you're pretty, and isn't that lovely? And this crap's going to continue to happen. That's the way it is. So
now, because it's Marchand, I think, personally, I think if it was any other player on Boston, I think a few of the Toronto players probably would have. But I think Brad Marchand, he never seems to have to face, any kind of repercussion from the other team. He always seems to get away with things. I don't know what his reputation with other players around the league is, but it reminds me of Kenny Linsman, how, the Rat always used to, get under the skin of everyone, but he would have to be accountable. Guys would stand up to Kenny Linsman. Frank, why do you think Brad Marchand never gets payback for things like this?
He's like Claude Lemieux. He's not going to fight. He's a weasel. He did fight once. He got his ass kicked. I can't remember who beat his ass, but he knows he's not going to fight. He can't win a fight. So he's a little weasel.
The one time he had the opportunity to, he licked somebody's face. So who's going to want to get close to him?
Yeah. It's just a weasel. But I didn't see the play live. I heard about it afterwards, but I didn't really have an opinion, But Wendell Clark was on Sportsnet before the game on Hockey Central. And he said, when you watch it live, he goes, I didn't think Liljegren got injured. He goes, I can understand why people are upset, but live, Nobody knew he was injured. The thing is, once they knew he was injured, like 5 minutes later, he wasn't coming back. That's when you do the payback, because Wendell didn't have a problem at the moment because somebody falls. That's what we saw live. He just fell. Didn't know it was serious, etc. But it's later on when you do find out. And Reeves again on the bench, blah blah blah, and it does nothing. It's like Arbor Jacky after the game. We'll meet again. You were on the ice twice with Arbor after your fight with him, but he jumped you. But you were on the ice two more times during the game, and you're going to see him chirp again right here. So, and it's like, you didn't fight him. So shut up, shut up. There's a reason why, this guy's a freaking twat, and it's not, he comes in, Minnesota, I'm the solution. You're not the solution. You're the problem, and you're going to remain a problem for the Leafs because it's always after the fact. Oh, I'm going to get you, but never during the fact. And it was George Larac that put him in his place because he tweeted, he did the interview and all that, and George Larac tagged him and said, hey, by the way, you were on the ice two more times with him and you didn't do nothing.
Yeah, because I think it happened late in the first period when that took place. So anyway, Brad Marchand doing Brad Marchand things, and Liljegren's still out, so I don't know what the prognosis is for him. But in our first game of the week, we're going to keep a scoreboard here. And after week one, Lanky and Finn have a 1-0 lead over Old Man and Lap. So we'll keep track during the year who's the best at the game of the night. All right, moving on. Speaking of play in the league, Las Vegas lost their first game in regulation yesterday, actually, to Anaheim, of all teams they lost to.
And they lost the first time in overtime against Chicago.
Yeah.
So they have to stop playing these bottom feeders. It's like, David, you ever heard of playing down to the competition?
Yeah. So Boston, Vancouver, Rangers, the Kings, Las Vegas Golden Knights. So again, lots of teams that are doing well. And of course, at the bottom, we have some of the teams we'll talk about a little bit later on. But we want to kind of take a look at the beginning of each month. We want to look at who the players of the month were. And in the NHL, they selected Jack Hughes, which was a no-brainer. Elias Peterson, another no-brainer, playing really well for Vancouver. And David Pastrnak had 14 points in 9 games for Boston. Those were the 3 players of the month. And then they always select a rookie as well. But before we get to the rookies, let's talk a little bit about the injury to Jack Hughes. Now, when you lose your top player, fortunately, it's not as bad as they thought it might have been. Frank, you're more on the eastern coast there. You kind of might hear more things about things going on in New Jersey. How do you think this is going to affect New Jersey?
Well, he's out week to week, so it went from not being too bad to being bad. They're going to reevaluate week to week. So, it's a shoulder. That came out also. So Heischer's already out. So they're going to be in a crunch, the kid's got to step up, like Mercer finally got his first point of the year. No points all year, so they're just gonna have to step up. As he sure is gonna come back probably before Jack Hughes does, but he's not out like 3-4 months or 2 months. So, I hope not for the Devils' sakes, but it should be okay. They have a lot of depth. It's just they lost their top 2 centers. So at least they'll see what it's like to lose the top 2 centers, And not a lot of teams can survive that, but I think they will. Halla can go up. Mercer's shifting to center, and because Halla is his luxury, he was a center playing left wing. So I think they'll be okay. I think there's enough talent throughout that team. At least Timo Meyer's back to being the guy. He was the guy in San Jose for years. Now he's used to it. So for him, it's going to be okay. All right. Everything flows through me. Let's go, boys.
And of course, they always nominate a rookie of the month. And last year, we see some of the rookies of the month with Shane Pinto, Thompson. We see a lot of goalies last year being named Rookie of the Month, including Stuart Skinner. This year, same thing. First Rookie of the Year was the Ducks' Dosto. And Ryan, I know in your fantasy league, I think you might have picked this goalie up or thought about picking this goalie up for your fantasy team. A little bit about the Rookie of the Month. What do you think about that?
Well, no, it was the Calgary Flames goalie that I was trying to pick up, hoping that
the Calgary Flames
bite on him or bite on a Calgary goalie for the injured goalies that are out there. But I don't know. The Anaheim's team is coming together slowly, and they're having the rookie goalie coming up now. They're having their rookie defenseman. Everybody's starting to get their stride all at once here, and look out top of the Pacific. Anaheim in the coming years are going to be a force to be reckoned with here if Dostal keeps it up, and same with all their other rookies. But
I have to take you back a month when we selected our franchise players.
No, not doing that.
To take.
No,
I believe.
Hold on. Are you going to show the clip where I'm laughing my head off?
Yeah. No, I don't have that clip handy, but I believe the other Anaheim goalie was your franchise player. So,
well, you want to get some good draft picks when you start out at a franchise, don't you? That's my defense to it, and that's all I'm saying about it.
Old man Fred, what about you in terms of Rookie of the Month that went to Dostal? When we look at some of the skaters, Logan Cooley had 8 points, Bobby Brink 8 points, Bedard 7. Are you okay with giving it to the goalie?
Sure. I mean, you know what? The rookie stuff doesn't really do much for me. I don't really have too many dogs in the game. Anaheim, who cares? So I'm in that kind of situation. The thing that surprised me is when I take a look at the time on ice. I'm surprised at some of the numbers that I was seeing when it came to that. So, almost 20 minutes. The Brock Faber kid from Minnesota, he's playing 23 minutes for a rookie defenseman. That's pretty amazing. So, although, like I said, I'm not super invested when it comes to the rookies, and I mean, I'm cheering for Connor Bedard. I hope he makes it, does his thing, and is the next coming. That's good for Canada. But at the same time, things have it's not just Bedard that has big numbers, and I think he's in the 19s. Yeah, he is. So, but it's the others, some of the other guys that I'm seeing, and then I look at my Leaf guy, Matthew Nyes. Well, he's playing on a third line. He's playing with Domi, and he's getting 13 minutes. And so it's an interesting thing, and I mean it makes sense given the top four of the Leafs. You're not going to put a rookie in and make sure he plays more time, but these guys are getting the opportunity and they're taking advantage of it. Good on them, right? So that's cool.
All right. Well, we're on our first break here, guys. The break comes up pretty quickly here. Before we head off to the break, we are going to allow you a chance to start entering for the giveaway here for that copy of Franchise Hockey Manager. And all you have to do is to follow what's shown in the chat or shown in the box down below there. Type in ticket or enter for your chance to win a free copy. I'm going to start this up now, so you should see it enter. So it is now live. Someone's clock is going off. Yeah, ding dong. Again, you have to be here when we give it out. If you are not here, once we do the draw, and if your name is drawn, if you're not in the chat, then we will redraw it after about a minute's time. So stick around. If you do enter the draw, please stick around till the end of the show. Again, we only do about an hour show each week, so we will be making the draw around 8:30-ish. So exclamation enter, exclamation ticket. That will get your name into the draw. 3 entries so far, and we'll leave this up and running. And we'll do the draw a little bit later. All right, on to the break. Back in 2 minutes' time. All right, we are back. We are back. We are back. And again, exclamation enter, exclamation ticket to get your name in for the draw. Moving along, looking at the top point getters so far this season, all teams have played at least 10 games now. Elias Peterson tied with Jack Hughes, but we see 3 Vancouver Canucks in the top 9 scorers. JT Miller, Quinn Hughes. Vancouver is off to a fantastic start right now. And let's start with Eric on this one in terms of Vancouver play. What, in your opinion, why is Vancouver off to this hot start? Their best ever 11-game opening start.
I think their music's still going, yeah.
Yep, I'll turn that down. Yep.
There we go. Why are they off to such a great start? For the same reason the Oilers are off to a terrible start. It's exactly the same. We're going to start with goaltending. Yes, they have goaltending, right? Demko's a very good goalie. He struggled a little bit last year, but he's had a bounce back here. They have the best 5-on-5 goal differential in the league right now. So they're playing that kind of hockey. And where did I get that little piece of information? Well, as I keep looking over to my right, I'm watching the Oilers take on the Canucks, and that was part of the preview thing. The Oilers, of course, are absolutely near the bottom when it comes to 5-on-5. So you know what? It's like a tale of two cities to get onto my literary background, and that's what's happening. They've really come alive. Their scorers are scoring. It's really quite cliche. So why is Vancouver doing very well? Because they're good in all aspects of the game right now, and I think if I remember correctly, and somebody will remember if I remember it incorrectly, but I think I said they might sneak in on the wild card, right? In the West, and a lot of that was a hope because, of course, the more Canadian teams, the better it is for me. But now I look at it and think, wow, maybe it'll be the Oilers who might sneak in on a wild card. Of course, they have to win some games. That's one of the rules I think they have. So yeah, good on Vancouver. I really don't have any anger towards Vancouver. I'm not a Calgary Flames guy. Calgary and Vancouver seem to have a lot of angst towards each other. But yeah, no, good on Vancouver. I think it surprised everybody. It came a little bit sooner than they expected. And ride it as long as you can, and maybe to the end of the season. We'll see what happens in the next 10, right? Are they going to stay 8-2, or are they going to start to fall a bit? Who knows?
I think, Quinn Hughes is playing lights out, and the pickup of Philip Hronek from Detroit kind of really shocked me. And I think, Frank, you mentioned when it happened too that it was a little bit of a surprise that Detroit gave up on this player. Anything to add to the Vancouver success, Frank?
Oh, damn right. Detroit didn't give up on him. They just had players coming up, and they didn't have room for him anymore. And that's going to happen if all the Habs D prospects come due at the same time. So, like, Hronek ran the power play as a minute muncher. Then Seider came along. Then they got Wallman. Then they got Irvinson, etc. So they just made a trade that was good for all involved. And when they got Hronek, he got hurt. He only played 4 games for Vancouver last year. And if you look at who was playing with Quinn Hughes last year, it was Hronek only played 30 minutes with Quinn Hughes. He didn't have time to play. But if you look at who was his partner last year, it was Luke Schenn. He played the most minute with him, and Luke Schenn is not a top pairing defenseman for sure. And if you look at this year, well, they've played 168 minutes together, and that's double what Tyler Myers and Carson Soucy have played together. So they have a true number one pairing. And what that does is when Montreal lost Weber, they lost their number one D. What happened? You take that out. Somebody's got to play number one D, who's not really a number one D. Then the number two D is not really a number two, and it cascades down. And that's what Roenick has done for Vancouver. Is Quinn Hughes was always number one, but they had a rotating. Every year they tried to find somebody to play with him. But by having Roenick slide into that number two slot, it slides everybody in the correct chair. Like Tyler Myers doesn't really suck, you know? But he did suck before. And Carson Soucy comes out of nowhere, a new player also. And he's doing okay, but everybody is slotted in the right chair. And that helps Demko, helps the goaltending, because even the Smith has had good games, because the defensive core is a good unit. And the other thing, which is interesting, is JT Miller, after going point per game last year, etc., like Elias Peterson went over 100 point. He might career year. No, he's got 20 and 11. JT Miller, 16 and 11. Quinn Hughes is going bonkers. What Quinn Hughes has added is shots on goal, over one shot per game. So that'll be over 80 for the year. But Brock Besser's finally 8 goals in 11 games. He was not there last year. All these players are finally, everything is gelling a little bit like Seattle, like all at the same time. And last year you had Quinn Hughes at 76 points in 78 games. The next defenseman was Oliver Ekman-Larsson with 22 points in 54 games. And then Luke Shen, 21 and 55. This year, you have Quinn Hughes with 16 and 11, but you also have Roenick, 11 and 11. And then you have Carson Soucy, 5 in 9 games. And that, for the full year, is 40-point pace. That's from the third one. So everything is rolling double sixes right now in Vancouver. Finn did pick them for the playoffs, not for maybe wild card. He's the only one that said, no, these guys are going to make the playoffs. I didn't believe it, but
make
if
the
they
playoffs
do,
and the surprise top 4 in the conference is what I picked them for. And everybody laughed.
Exactly. So I went and I did, as you can imagine, I did a deeper analysis to see what the hell was going on. And sometimes you have that one player that makes multiple players click. And that's what we've seen in Vancouver. So we'll see if it lasts. Injuries can always derail a season. But it's looking good because Demko, he did not have a bad season last year. He had a great season. He had bad statistics. There's a difference, you know? So, so that's what I think is happening in Vancouver. That defensive core is like Oilers' wet dream because they're all just clicking, you know?
I just want to add that I think it is a tale of two cities, but maybe the wrong city, as Fred may have alluded to. But if you look at Ottawa right now with their offsite ice situations, and you look at Vancouver last year, it's a lot of noise around Vancouver last year with Bruce Boudreau pretty much being a dead man walking for half the season. Yep. So they figured out their coach. The coach is a good coach. He knows the team, and he's going to get them. They finished off the season decently last year, and he's coming back this year, and he's got a full season to work with them. And they quieted down the off ice stuff, where Ottawa is just drowning in it right now.
Speaking of Ottawa,
good transition. Speaking of Ottawa, and Finn, we're going to start with you on this one. Ottawa is just, nothing's going right for the Senators. We talked about the Pinto situation and gambling last week, and the last week has just been going from bad to worse now. losing to the Los Angeles Kings, getting booed in their own building, and having to forego a first-round pick for a situation involving Dadonov. Anything, Finn, that you can add, with Ottawa? Is this a write-off season for them? Can they come back? What
they just got to quiet it down, the noise. They gotta tell their players to go home and go to sleep after games and not leave the house and do anything stupid. I like the owner's comments. How the hell did I inherit this mess? I mean, Ottawa is forfeiting a first-round pick for withholding information. Meanwhile, this guy just spent $950 million on a team and was not told what was happening with this team. Like, I'm pretty sure he would have maybe dialed back the number if the amount of millions he was paying, if he was told that, oh yeah, by the way, you're forfeiting a first-round pick for something the last people did. But GM lost his job, rightfully so. And I think maybe a little bit should be on the NHL for this. They have a central database. I mean, how was this not picked up during the trade call? How was this information not stored and relayed to Vegas? And of course, Vegas was pissed off the whole time because, I mean, they have a bad reputation already of just willy-nilly trading anybody out of town just to improve their team a little bit. And then they go and trade a guy that has a partial no movement clause. So just an ugly look all around. And I think obviously it starts with the GM not, being up front with the situation, but also I think the NHL needs to do better at keeping a database of all this stuff.
And I have to say, here's the little thumbnail of our prediction show. And Finn did pick, Vancouver to be right on that bubble there. And I think it was the highest any of us picked the Vancouver Canucks. And, you might want to swap Vancouver with Edmonton position-wise. But, yeah, you made a pretty good call. Maybe it's because you just didn't want Calgary to make the playoffs, so you'd have to wear a Calgary playing jersey. Maybe that's the reason.
Well, he had three teams from the Central. That's why he had the Vancouver making the playoffs.
Yeah. Old man Fred, what do you have to add to the Ottawa situation? Horrible situation there.
Yeah, you know what? I think I feel sorry for the owner. I think the NHL screwed with him, and he did the only thing that he could do with the only power that he did have. And that's fire the general manager. And he's not a man of inaction because that happened pretty quickly. Injuries have also hurt this team, and it's not great when you buy a team, you're excited about it, and then suddenly you're being booed 5 or 6 games in, or your fans are booing you 5 or 6 games in. So I think the NHL needs to own some of that as well. This Pinto thing was horrid. This seems kind of late as well. A first round draft pick seems wow, and now I realize they've got 3 years, I think, to choose which first-round draft pick they're going to give up. And I don't think it'll be this year if they keep doing what they're doing, because it's going to be a pretty high pick. So, it's sad, right? It's another Canadian team that is suffering. Probably the coach is looking at being gone pretty quickly as well. We know that general managers tend to want their own coaches in there. And, I just think it's a bit of a mess, and that's too bad because last year we were thinking Ottawa made some really great moves and was looking like they were getting, serious. And now it looks like they've taken 2 steps back.
Yep. Excellent analysis. Frank the Tank, anything to add?
Yeah, it's complete BS. How does Chicago hide sexual abuse by one of their staff and they get money punishment versus not sending a modified no trade clause on a fucking trade, then you lose a first rounder? complete hogwash. It's complete bullshit. If I was Andlayer, I would tell Bettman to take his forfeit and shove it up where the sun don't shine, and to figure out another penalty. He can go get money from the two inheritors, out of that pot of money, and that's it, because Chicago only got money. DJ Smith's going to get fired, but not by the new GM, because they're not going to hire for a while. And I don't get it. I thought Steos wanted to be GM, but apparently they're naming all these people except him. So who knows? Maybe he doesn't want to be the guy in charge right now. So yeah, the drama does continue, because in Chicago, a second player has filed suit against Chicago. So I don't know. I think it's bullshit. A first rounder, give me a fucking break. It's not like this was a trade for. It was a contract dump, and they eventually dumped the contract in Montreal. So what did Vegas actually lose? Time.
Well, I heard Anaheim was upset because they never got the pick for taking the contract.
Yeah, but you don't penalize a first pick for that. That's like, give me a break. It's just
no. And I kind of want to answer to what Boiled Egg was saying about all signs pointing to them rescinding that, and I think they're going to kick that can down the road as far as they can. They're going to choose the third year and fight it the whole way, and I can see them ending up, forfeiting maybe a third or fourth rounder instead.
Yeah,
and it has to be their own pick. They can't trade with whoever wins the Stanley Cup this year, 32nd pick, and then make a trade and give that one up. It has to be their own. So that adds insult to injury. So if I'm the new owner, I said, no, this ain't going to fly. So figure it out.
It's in the next 3 years or 4 years that they have to give one of them. It's not this
next
year that
years,
they have. Yeah.
No, it's 3 years. This year, 2025 or 2026.
Yeah. And Sean Horkoff now listed on the candidates of possible Ottawa Senators GMs, and makes me feel real
heart. Why don't you? All these ex-Oilers going over there.
Yeah, Steos and Horkoff. Maybe they can bring back some of that 2006 magic. Well, moving on to a horrible kind of off-ice situation with the Ottawa Senators, to a horrible on-ice situation with the San Jose Sharks. And again, we know why San Jose is bad. They have traded away all their players. But when we look at their, schedule in October, the most goals they've scored is 3, and that was one time. They've only got 1 point. That was in a shootout loss to Colorado. They've been shut out a couple times. They've lost a couple 10-goal games recently to the Canucks in Pittsburgh. I can't recall a season this bad from a team this early on. Old man Fred, what can you say to San Jose fans? Is there anything you can say to give them a ray of light?
Well, I just looking at the bottom of my screen there, it says tickets as low as $10. Maybe that's maybe and the Oilers. Hey, look, we're upping it to 15 for the Oil, or 14. So I just think they wanted to tank. We knew that was going to be the case. They have probably the lowest payroll in the NHL, I would assume.
No. They took a lot of contract with Carlson, but they were just shitty players.
Oh, okay. All right. So Mike Greer, I think, is the GM there. Smart man, played for the Oilers, was a gritty player when he played. So yeah, you know what? I just think it's going to be, wow, we're going back to Washington Capitals, 1974 kind of things. Can they get more than 15 wins this year? And when you start to get into those numbers, 10 to 15, it's pretty frightening. And but I heard today that Oiler fans are hoping that they can beat Philadelphia tonight, and that way, it'll be less pressure on the Oilers when the
Vancouver.
Oilers. Vancouver's winning, or the Oilers are winning right now against Vancouver. But if they lose to Vancouver and then they lose to San Jose, we should do an emergent thing, because we know Finn's going to be losing his mind.
Historically, good or bad, no matter how good the Oilers team has been in the past or how bad they've been in the past, these games against the teams like San Jose's, they seem to somehow drop them. So I would not be surprised, as sad as that is, if San Jose's first win of the season is against the Oilers, because it's just over every season they line up against this team that should be an automatic win, and next thing with their backup goalie, next thing you know, they end up losing. So I would not be surprised.
Let's go there. Let's predict and chat. You can see the schedule for the next 10 games or so on the screen there. Where does San Jose get their first win? We'll start with you, Finn, because you were just talking right now. Who does San Jose beat first and get their 2 points?
Jeez. Doesn't matter, because whoever they beat is going to be ridiculed for quite some time.
Well, take your shot. Who is their first win against?
I'm kind of joking about the Oilers, but again, I would not be surprised if it was the Oilers. But honestly, if I was to pick one, St. Louis, could they go that much longer without losing or without winning?
Okay, you're going St. Louis. I'm going Washington. Sorry, boiled egg, but I'm going in a home game against Washington. I don't think they beat any of these teams over the next 10 games. I just think they're that bad that it might take a team like Washington for them to get their first win. How about you, old man Fred? Who do they get their first win against?
You know what? I'm going to go tonight. They're going to win. The Flyers.
Tomorrow.
You know what? The Flyers, they handily beat the Sabres in their last game, I think. And I don't know if they've played since. And they're flying fairly high and probably feeling fairly confident going in. But it is, and all those people, they didn't spend much on tickets. They can, the fans can get drunk on beer, and maybe they'll pull it up. Who knows? That's what I hope anyway. So I'm hoping it's tonight. I'm going to predict tonight.
All right. And Frank the Tank, are you going November 24th?
No, Boiled Egg just did November 24th.
Well, I thought maybe you were going November 24th.
No, I just informed him his guess is November 24th. So I don't know how many games into the season this is, but I'm gonna go if the trend continues. Well, for sure, Friday they beat Vegas.
Yeah,
Vegas
is on that one.
Well, the odds must be amazing, but in all seriousness,
I'll put $1 on that.
In all seriousness, I think it's going to be against the Sunday at the latest against the Ducks. Battle of California, so because if they don't win there, man, they're going Panthers, Blues, Canucks, Seattle, Habs. Oh, Habs are takeable, but we're at November 24th for your first win. So, yeah.
And it doesn't get any easier. That's for sure. There's no
They would lose against AHL teams right now.
Yeah,
because
it's going to get worse before it gets better at the trade deadline.
No, but Couture, you have to remember, Couture is out. Like they have two good players, which is Hurdle and Couture, and one of them is out. They have no top Ds, first pairing. It's like, Hoffman's not a coach killer. He's not a player, period, So he was a salary dump, and he was bad in Montreal, and he's as bad. So, yeah, this is like Chicago last year, but they just did it beforehand. They traded Myers for Chums. Then they traded Carlson for Chums, and both had picks attached to it, but it wasn't multiple picks because they wanted to keep the least amount of money on their Carlson contract. Because if they would have kept more of the cap hit, Carlson would have been in with the Oilers this year. Would have been with the Oilers last year. So they flipped and went after Ekholm after. So I don't know. It's like they're gonna be. So you asked old man Fred what the hope was for San Jose Sharks. It all has to do with the lottery balls, man. So look at the pray to the balls because they need to win the lottery. They're going to get a top 3 pick guaranteed because they're going to go back 2. So they're going to get either the most complete player, Macklin Celebrini. They're going to get the American goal scorer, or they're going to get the Russian phenom, unless there's other players. We just turned the calendar to November. We'll see who shoots up the draft board, but it's all about it's not going to get better. If
it amazes me how, as a New York Ranger fan, I mean, when San Jose goes to New York and tickets are as low as $103 to go see the San Jose Sharks, I think there are going to be a lot of people trying to sell their tickets for that game there. And then we see Florida.
Well, if you want to see your team win, you keep those tickets.
Yeah. And Pops Dongoria, as a San Jose fan, you do have Patrick Marleau going into the San Jose Hall of Fame coming up this month. So there's a bright spot for you. Patrick Marleau in the San Jose Hall of Fame. And Pops, who do you think they beat first as a fan of the Sharks? Who is it going to be? Is it going to be Edmonton? Is it going to be Philadelphia? Or is it going to be a while before they win their first game? Well, guys, we're on our next break here, so we will be back with the closing of the show. Exclamation enter, exclamation ticket to get your name in, and we'll talk
Washington
Capitals.
Flyers. Then who's the
Washington Capitals when we come back, and our game of the week. Back in 2 minutes' time. All right, we are back for the last segment here. Thanks, guys, for hanging around on a Monday night with us. And when we look back at the 2006 draft, it wasn't a very strong one in the first.
Typical of Oilers season.
Yes, what's that?
Don't even get me started.
I said typical of Oilers season.
Yeah.
They dominate.
2006.
They dominate the first 19 shots against 3, and Vancouver just scored on their third shot.
No. Our defensemen just scored on ourselves.
Oh, I didn't see it. I just saw that. Oh, so it was a Steve Smith type thing?
It's 1-1. There's hope for Oiler fans. Quinn Hughes with the goal. Ekholm with the goal. There you go. We got
Vincent Desharnais with a goal and Ekholm with a goal.
Gagne, what a pickup. He's had 2 goals his first game, got an assist tonight.
Have the music. Your music is on.
All right. Okay, so going back to the 2006 draft, again, not a lot of high-end players that played in the league. We've got Varlamov, we've got Claude Giroux, a great pick by Philadelphia, number 22. But the top 5 had pretty good careers. Eric Johnson, Jordan Staal, Jonathan Toews, and Nicholas Backstrom with Phil Kessel. And Nicholas Backstrom, some news surrounding Nicholas Backstrom this week. So we'll start with Frank on this one. A great player for Washington. Ovi's, longtime line mate that contributed to a lot of goals for Ovi. What are you thinking about Backstrom? Likely done for maybe not the season, but his whole career.
Yeah, he's going to be 36 in 17 days. So to come back, and this is the same injury surgery as Patrick Kane, just to put the things in perspective. Patrick Kane is a year younger, maybe 2. I think it's a year because Kane went after Toews. So yeah, amazing career, underrated, quiet leader, great assist guy, great passer. So he, you always need your fodder. Like Cam Neely would not have had his career without Adam Oates. You always have these pairs that are made for each other, and he was the Robin to Ovechkin's Batman. So great career, Hall of Fame career for sure, 1,000 points. So yeah, it's too bad because that's Washington. They didn't need that. That's for damn sure. Good news is now they can use their cap as a weapon and get some picks because I think they've given up on actually being competitive. I think they've seen the light, the tea leaves, as we say. But now they have $9.2 million to weaponize and get some draft picks for salary dumps. And we all know some teams in Canada that need salary dumps. So, and that's good news for Washington, especially with the next couple of drafts. But it's too bad. I was really hoping he would make a comeback, but hips don't lie, man. That's what that's what Shakira says. Hips don't lie.
Oh man, Fred, any memories of Backstrom? When you hear Nicholas Backstrom, what comes to mind as a Capital?
Well, certainly, like you said, kind of a second fiddle to Ovi, but very important piece of music, if you will, because and Ovi would probably say the same thing. Those two together, that's what you see. Played a long time, certainly, leads some points and things along those lines. Just kind of looking at he is the all-time assists leader, which is something on that team. So yeah, it's a sad statement really that he's going to step away from the game without saying he's retiring. And I agree with Frank. Hockey ages people very quickly. It's a fast game, and he's. I think of one other really great guy who stepped away very early, and of course that's Mike Bossy. And you can't come back, right? Injuries are injuries, and so sad. But wish him luck, and I think he's got a very long life to live. So good on him, and the Caps aren't doing much right now anyway. So like Frank says, this is a good time to make the depart, kind of thing.
Wow,
he was never a speed merchant.
So
he was never a speed merchant. So him hips slowing him down is deadly. So.
All right. Well, we want to finish off looking at our game of the week and making a little bit of predictions about some of the games coming up this week. So when we look at the schedule, one game that kind of stands out to me is two of the top teams in the Western Conference right now, and that's LA and Vegas. And they play in Vegas on Wednesday. So let's go with the Western matchup this week. Los Angeles, Vegas. Finn, give me a score. Who do you see winning that?
Two teams I just can't stand. Thanks.
Last week it was Frank. Last week it was the Boston and Leafs game. So it's your turn.
Just hope it doesn't go to overtime, obviously. But let's pick LA. LA over Vegas. 5-3.
5-3. Okay. Pops Dongoria is going 4-2 Vegas. So chat, feel free to put in your guess as well, and we'll see if any of you guys nail it. Vancouver leading 2-1 over Edmonton right now. We better end this stream soon before it gets out of hand.
I don't want to talk about it.
Old man Fred, what's the score?
Let's go. I think Vegas is going to do it again. Let's go fairly high scoring, 6-3.
6-3 Vegas. Okay. What do you think, Frank?
You should drive over to Finn's house just to make sure he'll be okay and he doesn't do anything drastic. So I'll go 3-1 Vegas.
3-1 Vegas. Okay.
Yeah.
So right now the Kings are 7-2-2. Vegas is 11-1-1. 3-1 Vegas and
3-1 now. Not 2-1, 3-1. Ah, boy.
They play 2/3 of the game, absolutely fantastic, no mistake hockey, and then they get a cut and they can't stop the bleeding. It's just, and now Skinner's out, and now we're going to put even the leakier goalie in. That's freaking great.
All right, I'm going 3-2 Kings. Let's keep it on track here, guys. Let's we don't want to go 2 hours here. I'm going 3-2 Kings.
If the plumbing breaks in a house, and the plumbing breaks in a second house, there's not one that's leakier than the other. Both goalies are breaking, have their plumbing broken.
19 shots to 7. I mean, Edmonton's got to make a.
It was 19-2, Glenn.
It was 19-2, yeah.
19-2 at one point.
But the forwards held up their end of the bargain for the first 2/3 of the period, but
it starts with a fluky goal, like Finn said, scoring your own goal. So that doesn't even count as a shot on goal. And then Vancouver gets a pep. So then they get 2 goals on 4 shots after that. Wow.
So here's the
snake bitten. It's
they're wearing the nice jerseys, though. I have to give them credit.
Who, Vancouver?
Yeah. I mean, that's just that's a bright yellow.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's why they're winning. I don't know, but poor Oilers, man. I'm telling you guys, they're playing to get the coach fired. I don't care what you guys say. They're done with Croft. They're done. So it's going to be a race between. I had DJ Smith as the first one fired, but it's going to be a race between those two.
No, they're.
Well, Finn, we gotta let you go and crack open that beverage that you said you had waiting for you.
Might need 2.
And here's the third goal, I believe.
Spike it, baby.
For Edmonton. All right. Well, any closing comments, old man Fred? Anything you're looking forward to this week? Any NHL tidbits to leave us off on?
No, I think there's a pall over the broadcast now as we watch the Oilers fall apart. You know what? I hope there can be a bit of a rebound with San Jose and the Kraken. I think they play the Kraken on Saturday. So yeah, I'm pulling for the Oilers. Edmonton is a very cold, ugly place in January. And if the Oilers aren't playing well, it's even colder and uglier. So I hope this ends soon because the decade of darkness just about killed us. And this is almost worse because we had higher expectations. So there you go. I know you didn't want any kind of Oiler talk, but it's impossible not to, I'm afraid. So
my what I'm looking forward to is the hated Bruins Saturday night hockey in Montreal. All the Bruins fans are gonna come over like the Toronto. They come by bus and they scream and they're loud and they're good this year. So we can't do nothing about it. But that's a classic Saturday night matchup. So that's gonna be good. Yeah, that's game of the week.
Yeah,
and then you have
Edmonton, Seattle.
You also have the Canadian showdown, Vancouver, Toronto, and Calgary, Ottawa. So Calgary, Ottawa is for the shits, and Vancouver, Toronto will be for the goods.
Yeah, and we'll find out next Monday if San Jose has their first win. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. We're going to make the draw for the copy of NHL FHM 10. And again, you won't get your code tonight. The code, I should get a code over the next few days because it's going to be released tomorrow for FHM 10. So we'll give you 10 seconds to get your entry in. Exclamation ticket, exclamation enter before we close it off. And yeah, good luck. And send me a whisper on Twitch, whoever does win. And I'll keep in touch with you over the next couple of days. And when I get the code, I'll make sure you get a copy. And,
we don't get to find out who wins.
Yeah, we do. We do. I'm going to close it off in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we'll give it a few seconds for the delay here. And then we'll draw a name.
Oh, cool.
Right.
Dum.
All right. The winner is, you'll see it pop up in the chat. There you go. Boiled Egg is the winner of the copy of FHM 10. Congratulations, Boiled Egg. We will give another copy away next week as well, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I do have a couple copies to give away over the next couple weeks. So congratulations, Boiled Egg. Well deserved. And you can sim out the Washington Capitals 2023 season.
Is he going to be able to play it right away because it comes out tomorrow?
No, he'll once I get the code and send it to him, then he'll be able to download it and play it. Probably
okay, so
either
he can give everybody else that's going to enter next week like a sneak peek of how good it is on Monday.
Yeah. He can give us a glowing review, hopefully.
All right, Boyle, that's your homework for next week. Give Fussmucker, Pops, and all these guys. There's 8 people that entered because 12.5% is 1 out of 8. You can give them how awesome it is and how they should enter, and everybody else should enter. So a little homework. He's on it.
Next week, we're going to have our rant back. It's been a while since our panel did the rant, so we're over a month into the season. I'm sure they'll have some sort of topic they want to
I know what Finn's going to rant about. I know what he's going to rant about. I have my crystal ball right here. Look at it. Oh, I know.
They're getting undisciplined now. This could be a fun game.
All right. And on that note, panel, thank you so much. Finn, Old Man, Fred, Frank the Tank. We'll see you guys next week. And Oilers.
There's still 2 periods left.
See, that's what I love about being a Habs fan. I know we suck. So when we're over 500, it's like, oh, yay. But they have 1 point out of possibly if they have 6 last week. And it's like, yeah, but that's okay. We suck. But being an Oilers fan and having a Stanley Cup, let's say they were like in the favorites for a Stanley Cup. And to have them play so shit, it must be disconcerting, right? Is that a word? It's like wow. I don't want to be in your shoes, man, because it's been more than a decade, I think, maybe 2 decades that I've been in those shoes, because the Habs haven't been Stanley Cup favorite. Even when they won the Stanley Cup, they weren't even close to being a favorite. So
Vegas missed the playoffs before they won the cup, so we have.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching, team.
Okay. Right. Yeah, wasting their prime. No freaking kidding, man.